Hi people. So I made this video like review of the Newearth film. Made two parts of it because it's too long. So I have like about 30 more minutes to review. I'll try to do it today because there's just don't have enough time to finish what I'm doing right now, and still this one is hanging above me. So I promised to do that, so whatever. And I was stopped at this exact point when she's talking about Asian people at 1706.
And here we have even a photograph of a shaman, native shaman, wearing something like that.
So like those shamans were the guys who actually were pretty much the next level of awareness persons. So like the first level of awareness is the level when you understand how to make family, you know, have some kids, well, not some, just 16 kids, like 9 kids, like way to reproduce and gain the population. So it's not just having 2 or 3 kids, it's just having a huge family, and family is just at least 7 people. This is what called the family. And you have if you have 9 kids, you at least you've done your own whatever purpose. The purpose, you've done your purpose, because the purpose is what is being assigned to you. So your assignment as a man to have at least 9 kids, and if you have 16 kids, there's no problem with you. You got this level of person which is called just a human. So next level is shaman. Shaman is the guy who is above humans, and he's like more aware of everything. He can connect to the same type of people like he is, like shamans and stuff like that. He can talk to them. He can communicate via so-called spiritual level, or mind level, or knowledge level, whatever. So no borders, no distances for them. They can reappear and appear whatever they want. They can see all those creatures that we don't see, and this is the level of shaman. Now the level of shaman is shut down because all these frequencies that we have right now on Earth, they just pessimizing or whatever, pressuring this shaman connection, and shaman connection is broken. Well, we have some regions where it's working, and those regions are obviously not the regions that the human civilization right now is prospering. Those regions are like very poor, and they don't have like electricities and stuff like that. So if you don't have electricity, you bet you have a shaman over there. So whatever.
To the Americas, I mean. Not much of his face is visible, but I must say that the mustaches also look quite oriental, not only the turban. Large statues of the gods of antiquity dominated the main squares and the most important public places, not only in South America but also in North America. Officially, we are told that this was kind of part of the package called neoclassical style.
Not only South America, everywhere. Everywhere. You have to say everywhere.
Really? Did people get out of their own minds to the extent that just out of architectural fashions they forgot even who are their own gods and started erecting gigantic statues of the gods of other people? I think that
those who erected those statues did not forget who the gods were. That's why they erected them. So probably it adds what you're saying.
Convincing reason for which nobody should believe even a single word from all the stories that they are telling us about the neoclassical style and people who built in that way is the chain of events which brought about the demise of the neoclassical cities. The cities were not destroyed completely, but just enough so that the statues of the gods of goodness would be replaced with those of devils, and of course, most importantly, this was taking place not only on the city squares, but also in the hearts of the people. A couple of years ago, I started mentioning in various videos about strange things that the Russians are finding out on large territories of Siberia.
Well, this is why I'm reviewing this video, actually, because I wouldn't have done it, I wouldn't have been doing this, or whatever, if you wouldn't mention this. So, you are on the topic of my review, that's why I'm reviewing it. So, all those people who support Newearth and really pissed off by what I'm doing it because she was going on review of Mudflood, I think. But that's why I'm watching this video and trying to review this video.
Namely, cities buried under a couple of meters of mud, clay, and also forests that were completely devastated some 200 years ago, like young forests. The old trees were killed, all of them, 100%, and those territories.
If you haven't watched my videos, I'd add some that the age of those trees that are right now growing on the territory of so-called Russia are not older than 150 years. 150 years to 200 years maybe. Not older than 200 years. I've seen a couple of trees that are 150 years. And I've seen a couple of trees that are 200 years. And I have never seen multiple trees that older than this one. Yes, we have some trees, single trees, but they can be left from the strike or whatever we had, war or cataclysm or flood. So single trees are still left, of course, but not the case when we have 2 or 3 trees in the same time, the same place.
Are the size of a couple of big countries. We are not talking about a small regional thing, we're talking about something big. And then all of a sudden I started receiving so many messages from the viewers of the channel. It turned out that this problem with the buried buildings, and again without a sensible explanation, and often without any explanation at all, I mean official explanation, so such buildings and cities are all over Europe and a lot of them in America as well. For example, this is a photograph of the Colosseum from the times when it was still buried.
Yeah, I have plenty of these photographs, and some of them I leave as archives on Google Disk, so check some videos, earlier videos, and you'll see those links, and you can watch those pictures.
So many examples along these lines came from the West Balkans that I had to make a separate long video with all those examples. Now let's see some of the strange things that were happening to the people in America during the last few centuries. Now something dramatic took place on 25th of August 1814 in Washington, D.C. We don't even know what exactly happened because we only have official sources, and those seem to be somewhat inconsistent. So the official story starts like this. The British were putting the city on fire, and they didn't even notice that a terrific storm is brewing above them in the skies. Of course, these people come from London. It's such a dry desert there, it hasn't rained in 700 years. Poor Brits, since they didn't know how a rain cloud looks like. Here, they're telling us the story. The Brits didn't have the slightest idea how bad the storms in DC can get. Well, of course they don't have the slightest idea. Britain is on Venus and not on the Atlantic Ocean as DC. A fierce storm was upon them and they didn't know what's happening. The British cannons were tossed by the winds. I had a slight difficulty figuring this one out. It looked like to me this is a bit too heavy to be tossed by the wind. But of course, they meant that their toys, the toy cannons were tossed away, not like the big military real cannons. Solid, huge buildings like this one were collapsing during that time, but they killed only a couple of Brits, of course. Everybody knows that they have 9 lives each, right? The White House was buried in mud until the 2nd floor, and so was the rest of the city. Aha, now that I really believe.
So she says like White House was buried, so whatever. Maybe I couldn't confirm it, but I don't like the style she's trolling something like this, but the information is really needs to be reviewed and confirmed by further research, and I should get to this war with Britain, which I was talking about, and really the same type of war was happening at the same time in Russia, so she does mention that in further lines.
Because this type of events, they leave entire cities buried under meters of mud, and not the cultural layers as they're telling us. What, people didn't sweep the streets? They were every day instead carrying buckets with mud to bury their own homes?
Well, that's of course ridiculous, and I agree with Sylvia, but what she doesn't say that all this New York and all this area was actual location of a huge metropolitan city and city, Atlantis city, whatever city. So and it has a bunch of evidence of megalithic structures laying on the shore, those broken blocks that are right now used by wave breakers or whatever you call them. So I've been shown this, even some islands were made of those blocks, of broken blocks, so they were blown up or whatever, and then picked and carried to make islands.
They must have been doing it if all the cities were buried in a peaceful way, as the mainstream history implies. And what a curious coincidence that this terrific storm was upon them exactly on the day of the battle. Strange. And in the future episodes I'm gonna tell you about the battle in Moscow, where the same thing happened just on the day of the battle. And again the story is
not quite the same thing, Sylvia. So pretty much the same, but not quite the same.
The various disasters that happened are quite suspicious. And the latest thing that was discovered about that particular battle in Moscow was, by the way, that they even lied to us about who were the parties fighting the battle and the entire war, as a matter of fact. So were the enemies of the human race capable of weather manipulation? Most definitely. We hear lots of stories along those lines in the legends of the indigenous people from all over the world. And not only the enemies of the human race, also the people themselves always knew how to do it in the past. They did it more efficiently with magic. For example, the story of Milarepa, the Tibetan magician who later on became a saint. But people did it with magic at the times when they had more personal freedom than now. Now we can do it as well.
Well, I can't agree with that. We cannot do it right now. Show me anyone who can do it. And the way we cannot do it, why we cannot do it, because we are shut down by those frequencies that depressing everything. All those abilities that we had in the past are now shut down by these frequencies.
The help of towers, which spit out rain, clouds, and God knows what else they can spit out as well. In the description you can find the link to a video showing one of those towers. So we can do it now as well, but the technology has changed.
Yeah, the technology has changed, and it was captured by those who right now ruling this world. And I've been mentioning those players, those teams. What are they playing, how they playing, what are they trying to do, and we're gonna get to this further in the further videos of mine. So if you want to know what's really happening right now, watch those videos, and I'll be coming back with more stuff on globalist games.
Because if they were training people to do it as before, then these humans may decide to use it humanely. But when it is done by machines, then it becomes relatively easy to use it inhumanely. And now let's see the next event, the mainstream description of which really leaves a lot to be desired. The fire of Peshtido left a really nuclear-scale devastation behind itself. Fire tornadoes killed thousands and jumped over bodies of water. People jumped into lakes to save themselves and were boiled alive there. Official explanation: severe droughts. How can that throw fire tornadoes that tossed away heavy trains hundreds of meters away? Even the very fact that they write and publish such obviously nonsense explanations and do it with great confidence, as if there is nothing wrong with what they are saying, that by itself is very, very suspicious. Ah yes, if they were saying this is really strange, we have no clue, then I would respect them. And on the very same day, the Great Fire of Chicago occurred, leaving much of the city devastated.
Well, I kind of confirm that those events that she's talking about right now, those fires, were actually happening because we have so many proof. But I can't connect the mud flood and those fires because they are like, you know, spread on timeline like for half century, 50 years. So we cannot confirm that right now, but that might be just the post effect of that war that we had. So we had if we have a revolution in any place, any time, and the power changes, the players change, and some players lose, some players win, they start to erase the information of history. They start to make those intriguing intelligence services that, you know, poke everybody and troll the enemies, troll other players, and, you know, make all those diversions or whatever we call it in Russian. We call it undercovering work, like when you work with agents and buy information, sell information, you know, all this intelligence work. So intelligence work could be happening, and all those fires could be set up by those who wanted to do the job and erase some facts that were needed to be erased, whatever had to be erased, and they did it. They set up the fire and burned the library, whatever, and who knows if that library was setting close to the house. Next house could be burned, and that's why the uncontrolled fire could be occurring. But we can also make more research on that, but we don't have any proof of that, so we can only guess. But I don't connect those fires exactly to the mud flood, because the mud flood was a little bit earlier than that, so those fires could be just the post effect of a revolution and changing of a power.
And then on that very same day is reported that numerous fires endangered towns across the state. What does it mean they were endangering towns? It means to me there were smaller fires in various other towns as well on the same day. This so-called coincidence, combined with many unusual phenomena reported by eyewitnesses, has led some to conclude that the extraordinary force, one not of the earth, was a more likely arson than either a misbehaving cow or a regional drought. And what is exactly this unusual phenomenon that they mention? Pitiless rains of fire and sand, great balls of fire unrolling, igniting entire streets at once.